Okay, thank you so much for logging in for Miss Antoine. What we're going to do today is review for your test, which will be on Friday. This review is in the folder that I left for Miss Antoine to give to first and sixth period calculus classes. So while she's passing that out, I just want to go ahead and give you a synopsis of what's to come. Tomorrow I will be back and we will continue practicing more of derivatives by the definition. On Friday will be your limit test. Make sure that you do know um, everything about limits as well as your speed, because this is an AP course, so that means that eventually when you take the AP test, it will be timed. So I'm not going to allow you to come back and finish the test. So make sure that you know how to pace yourself. Next week, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and squeeze in another test, most likely on Thursday for you, and it will be a simple test because I know that some of you all are concerned with your average. And also in regards to your pop quizzes, remember that at the end of the 6 weeks, I drop your 5 lowest quizzes. So some of you all either have zeros or have very low quiz grades. Just remember that next week, whenever I sit down and adjust your grade, I will drop 5 of the lowest grades, so it could possibly increase your average than what it is at the moment. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the review. This is exactly the way that your test will look like. So if you're able to follow me on this review, then you should be able to do well on the test. So let's look at the first one. It says use the graphs to answer the questions. Okay, so here we go. Number one is asking to find f of 5. So I go to where 5 is, and if you need to, draw yourself a little vertical line. So I'm going to use my arrow. So if I go through this vertical line at x equals 5, anywhere in there did I go through a shaded circle? No, I didn't. So my answer for number one is does not exist. Number two, the limit of f of x as x approaches negative 3. Well, with graphs, this is very tricky because you can't just tell me what the limit is, because first you have to approach them from both sides, the left and from the right. So if you take a look at your function right here, here is negative 3. So let's approach from the right-hand side. If I approach this wall or this boundary from the right-hand side, that's this piece of the graph, and if I approach it, it seems that I'm going upwards towards positive infinity. If I approach from the left-hand side, that's this piece of the function, and I approach it and it looks like I'm going towards negative infinity. One thing that we know about a limit overall is that both the right and the left-hand side must be equal. In this case, they are not equal. Therefore, my limit for number two does not exist. Exactly. Number three, f of 0 equals 5. So let's go to x equals 0, which is this axis right here, which is the y-axis. So anywhere in there, did I go through a shaded circle? I did. And what is that y value? It's 5. So f of 0 is 5. Number 4, the limit of f of x as x approaches 4. So let's take a look at this. This is again exactly like number 2. Before you can tell me what the limit is, you actually have to approach from both the left and the right, and they have to be equal. So let's take a look at 4. Here is 4. So if we approach from the right-hand side, that's this part of the boundary or this part of the function. I approach from the right-hand side, it looks like I'm going downwards towards negative infinity. If I approach from the left-hand side, that's this piece right here, and it looks like I'm going downwards towards negative infinity. Negative infinity is indeed equal to negative infinity. Therefore, my answer for number 4 is negative infinity. Number 5, the limit of f of x as x approaches 2. Okay, so here is 2 right here. Draw yourself a line if you need to. Again, before I say what the limit is, I have to approach from both the right and from the left-hand side, and they have to be equal. So if I have my boundary right here, if I approach from the right-hand side, that's this piece of the graph, I'm approaching 2, And what is my y value? 0. Now I'm going to approach the exact same line or the exact same boundary, but from the left-hand side. That's this piece right here. I approach it, and what is my y value? 0. So 0 is indeed equal to 0, therefore my overall limit is 0. Number 6. The limit of f of x as x approaches negative 3 from the left-hand side. So this one is just a one-sided limit. So here is negative 3 right here. So if I approach from the left-hand side, that's this piece of the graph, and it seems that I am approaching negative infinity. So number 6 is negative infinity. Let's look at number 7, f of negative 3. All right, so let's look at negative 3. It's right here. Anywhere in there, did I go through a shaded circle? No, I did not. Therefore, f of negative 3 is equal to what? Does not exist. Exactly. Number 8, the limit of f of x as x approaches 0. Again, before you tell me what the overall limit is, I have to approach it from both the left and from the right, and they have to both be equal for me to answer this question. So if I go to my function, here is 0, x equals 0. So if I approach from the right-hand side, that's this piece of the graph, I approach it, and it seems like I am getting a value of y of 2. And if I approach from the left-hand side, that's this piece of the graph, so if I approach it, it seems that my y value is 2. 2 is equal to 2, therefore my limit of f of x as x approaches 0 is 2. Number 9, f of negative 4. Alright, so I go to negative 4, which is right here, and I place a line right down vertically. Anywhere in there, did I go through a shaded circle? Yes, I did at this point, which is what y value? 1. So f of negative 4 is 1. And the last one, number 10. The limit of f of x as x approaches 4 from the right. This is a one-sided limit. So again, I look at 4, positive 4, and I am approaching the right-hand side. Okay, so here's positive 4. If I approach from the right-hand side, that's this piece of the function. So I approach it, and it looks like I'm going down towards negative infinity. Okay, so that is 1 through 10, and that's exactly what you're going to have on your test. You're going to have 2 of these, actually, and it's most likely 5 each for a total of 10. So you'll have 2 completely different graphs. The first graph will cover the first 5 questions. The second graph will cover the next 5 questions. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to skip 11 and 12. Sketch-wise, since I'm not there, what I'll do is I'll just type it in the calculator. But once I'm in person, I can go over that with you. And we'll actually do 11 and 12 at the end. But I really want to get to 13 through 20. So at this moment, I'm going to stop the video and create a new video for y'all to begin.